And we are live on YouTube once again. Hello, everybody catching this live or in the replay. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I know there's been a lot going on, especially with everything going on in the news. So I appreciate you taking the time to just hanging out with me here on this here YouTube channel in this space. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Kelsey D. I make comics. Today, I launched the reprinting of The Legend of Jamie Roberts on Kickstarter. Hello, Jessica. Glad to see you in the comments again. Okay, so earlier today, about noonish, I launched reprinting The Legend of Jamie Roberts on Kickstarter. And this campaign, I'll go ahead and add this here. This campaign is to reprint volumes 1 and 2 of this webcomic. You've probably heard me pitch this a dozen times before, if not hundreds of times, if you're familiar with this channel. But for folks who are new here, The Legend of Jamie Roberts is about Jamie, this blonde-haired young person here. They are neither a boy or a girl. They are a pirate. On a pirate raid one day, Jamie and their two best friends, Thomas and Daniel, find an unfinished treasure map, and they decide to retire from the seas and go treasure hunting in a new land. And this new land has dragons. That is this being here on the right. So why is this campaign happening? Well, I am down to my final copies of volumes 1 and 2. And I do not have the funding saved back to do another print run, but there are people who want this book. So I thought that I would launch a Kickstarter to make it available for people that if they wanted to get copies of the new print run, that they could. Or even if they don't want specifically volumes 1 and 2, there are other add-ons that we have available, including mini comics like The Legend of Azumi, which is a digital download. We also have character commissions and other mini comics, as well as sticker packs. I will also be adding some digital downloads, including phone and desktop wallpapers, as add-on rewards later tonight, if not tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out on the campaign page for that. So if you have any questions about the campaign, feel free to ask away in the chat, or if you're catching this on the replay, leave the questions down in the comments. I will answer some that I can think of on the top of my head to the best of my ability, but I'm also very distracted because I did not eat dinner before going live, and my soup is on the side over here, and I need to take a minute to eat something. So I'm going to go ahead and remove myself for a second and play some music as like a please hold. In the meantime, here is the link to the campaign page if you would like to check it out and find out more. I will be back momentarily. Just give me like 2 shakes to get a couple bites in. Okay. I appreciate y'all's patience. I just had to get a couple bites in so I could feel a little bit more like a human being. So, this campaign started today, and it is going to run until October 21st, if things go well. I realize that this is a unusual campaign considering other campaigns that I've done in the past. I've not done a Kickstarter to reprint already existing books. Fact of the matter is, though, I am almost sold out of this current print run. So I would love to reprint more. But again, I don't have the funding saved back on my end to be able to do it. And I figured this would also be a good opportunity for librarians and retailers to check out the campaign, because I have special tiers or special rewards available for retailers and librarians specifically who would be interested in this book. But if you're like, oh, I already have both volumes 1 and volume 2 because I supported these books in past campaigns, totally fine. There are other rewards available for you. I have the option available. I'll scroll down so I can show you. Here on the right, if you scroll down, there is a reward called a gold piece. You can consider that the tip jar. Just clicking on that will be like a thank you. It's just $1 to contribute to that. But by doing that, you also get access to the digital add-ons that are available for you. So if you would like to help support this project, but you already have physical copies of both books, totally okay. You can also do just the simple tip jar and maybe get some digital rewards in lieu of that. But also keep an eye out, because I will be getting some more digital rewards added, including phone wallpapers and desktop wallpapers. So keep an eye out for those. I mentioned earlier they'll be added either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. So keep watching the page, tinyurl.com/TLOJR-reprint. There's also a link down in the description. I am also available for commissions during this Kickstarter, and those are available as digital add-ons. I pledged. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Whoa. Holy dang. Your support always blows my mind, honestly. Thank you so much. I was actually starting to get a little nervous because this campaign had been live for like 5 hours and there had not been a ton of movement on it. So thank you for getting us even if it's not like fully rocketed forward, it is still like a significant step forward. So I hugely appreciate that, Jessica. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's see if we can get to 300 raised before the end of this stream. That would be great. I figure during this stream, it's not just going to be showing off the campaign, although it will be also showing off the campaign. There's also going to be, oh my gosh, hold on one second. I got to get some tea. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Sorry, I felt a tickle in my throat and I was like, the only cure for this is some country peach tea, which is what I have in that mug. Ah, I see. You are waiting for the stream. I see how you are clever. Very clever. You're wise, Mrs. Bond. So anyway, yeah, this particular live stream is going to be some showing off of the campaign and also some showing off of volumes 1 and volumes 2, including some of the bonus material that's in both books that is not on the webcomic site. I'm also going to do a live draw because I got to draw a reward, because every Kickstarter and crowdfunder campaign that I run, there's always a special secret reward for people who are regular patrons of mine through Ko-fi. These are the people who like pledge like a subscription per month to help support me and keep these comics going, thank you so much to all of my Ko-fi Club members. Hugely appreciate you. That includes you, Jessica. Thank you. I always do a special little reward for folks who do that. And this reward is what I want to draw during this live stream tonight. And we'll get to that. I'll tease it now. I'll tease it now. So we're going to present Clip Studio Paint here. This is the working file. This is the rough sketch directly from my sketchbook of the idea that I'm going to draw. This is going to be a mini print. And for patrons who back the campaign and only get digital goods, I'll make it into a phone wallpaper. That way you still get access to it. But mini print coming soon. This is the concept of it. We will be working on this later today. Later in the stream, I should say. So this is what we're going to be working with for today's stream. But I also want to take a second to show some of the things. Reprinting The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I want to show off some of the things on this campaign page here, because there are previews of the comic pages, including this. This is from volume 1 and chapter 1 in volume 1. There's also this. This is from chapter 3. So a fun fact about volume 1 of The Legend. The first 2.5 chapters are hand drawn. Then the pages were scanned into the computer, and then they were finished on the computer. Halfway into chapter 2, I switched to fully digital because I ran out of storage space for the original pages, which reminds me, during this campaign, I am going to offer the add-on, possibly even the reward, but definitely the add-on of the original comic art from the first 69 pages of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. It's going to be an add-on, possibly a base tier, but definitely an add-on. I'm going to add that as a extra reward. They'll be about $50 each. You know what? Give me 1 second because I know exactly where they are. There's a story to this. 1 second. I'll go ahead and pull those. Here we are. This binder is heckin' huge because these are originally 11 by 17 pages. Oh, hold on. I got to turn the light off so that you can actually see these. Here we are. That didn't do us any favors. Here we are. Okay, now you can see. So these are the original hand-drawn pages from the first 69 or so pages of The Legend. This includes the first 2.5 chapters. So these were hand-drawn, then scanned and finished in the computer, is how I drew this. And I'll have these original pages available as add-ons, $50 a piece, in the Kickstarter. You know what? I'll add that either later tonight or tomorrow morning, along with the digital add-ons, the phone wallpapers, etc., that I mentioned earlier. Ooh. So keep an eye out for those. Okay. I'm gonna actually take another minute to have some soup. So 1 moment. We're gonna play a different tune this time. I timed this so well. Okay. Give me like 2 shakes to have a couple more bites to eat, and I'll be right back. By the way, while I'm taking my snack break, I would highly recommend that if you need some water or you need to get up and stretch or get some snacks, go do that. I'll be back in a minute. Okay. I'm a little more human. Thank you for bearing with me while I got a couple bites in. I see that the Los has joined us in the chat. Hello, the Los. Glad to have you here with us. Cords got tangled. There we go. Okay. So, anyway, back to this here campaign page. So, yeah, this is a preview of Chapter 3 of the Legend, and I already showed off the original art pages. Those will be available as add-ons later tonight or tomorrow morning. Keep an eye out for that. Here is one of the pages that went fully digital. This is from Chapter 4 in Volume 1. So a fun fact about this particular path here shown. This was inspired by a real cliff path in Canyon de Chelly in Navajo Nation. When I was in Navajo Nation for like 3 weeks, I took a lot of notes, sketches, and photographs. And it was hugely influential in volumes 1 and 2 of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. A good chunk of the story in Maliwe takes place in a canyon gorge that was inspired very heavily by sections of Canyon de Chelly. So I want to be transparent about that artistic influence as much as I can. I meant to do it in volume 1, but I at least did it in volume 2, where in the thank you section I give credit to Navajo Nation, Sky City of Acoma Pueblo, and various West African and even bordering into East African and Central African peoples who were the inspiration for a lot of aesthetics of this comic. And we can get into that. Because honestly, the Legend has all of my favorite things in it. It's got himbos. It's got a genderqueer lead. It's got DILFs. It's got dragons. It's got pirates. It's got women being badasses. It's got full color shenanigans. It's got humor. It's got some remastered pages in the print version. So, like, if you're reading the webcomic version and you look at some pages and you're like, well, that doesn't look super great, they're redrawn for the books. And that's what this campaign is for, is to help get those books reprinted. Yeah, the asking goal is high compared to other campaigns that I have run in the past, and I will be transparent about that. The $1,300 that is being asked is to help fund 50 copies of each volume. So 50 copies of volume 1 and 50 of volume 2. And as I mentioned on the Kickstarter page, each volume has 120 pages of comics and bonus content. And the bonus content is stuff that is not on the webcomic site. And part of the reason I'm asking for this is I'll also be transparent about this. The first printer that I used for these comics messed up the first print run. It's kind of infamous for folks who backed a previous Kickstarter campaign to help get volume 1 into print. You might remember when I was starting to fulfill rewards for that, some fans and I caught that there was a printer error in chapter 2. And it was in the first whole print run. We did manage to get comp copies that fixed the problem from the printer, but it was not the first time this particular book printer messed up an order, but this was the straw in the camel's back that made me go, okay, I'm going to need to find somebody else who can make this book. The second printer did an amazing job, but they raised their prices with no warning. And it became really cost prohibitive to print with them. So for this campaign, we are going to be moving to a very new printer. So this new printer is a lot more flexible in terms of like, oh, I can order as low as like 1 copy, but I can order up to 1,000 copies. But I figure we just go for 50 copies of each book, 1,300. We should be able to hit that by October 21st. That's the goal here, is to get to 1,300 by October 21st. If we can hit the goal sooner than that, we have stretch goals available. And I'll talk about that in just a second. So for this campaign, we do have our base rewards, because I do see mini comics along the bottom. We'll get to that. Those are some of the add-ons. So the base rewards include the gold piece, which is what I call the tip jar. Just pledge $1 to help move this campaign forward. I figured I would add this option for folks whose budgets are tight, but also for people who may already have copies of volumes 1 and 2, but still want to get some digital add-ons. And we'll get to the digital add-ons in a second. So I figured the gold piece would be a good workaround for that, because the gold piece is technically a digital reward. And the way that Kickstarter is set up is that if you back for a digital reward, the add-ons available to you are also digital. If you back for a physical reward, you can get physical and digital. It's just how Kickstarter works. But we have the gold piece, which is just $1. On the Map, which is a digital copy of The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 1. And that is $5. We also have On the Back of the Map, which is a digital copy of Volume 2. And that is also $5. We have the Digital Loot, which is digital copies of both Volumes 1 and 2. And that's for $10. Then we also have a physical copy of Volume 1 of the old print run. This is like the final copies of the print run that is currently in my storage boxes. We have only a few left of these. So the Volume 1 old print run is split between this base tier and add-ons. Just being transparent about that. So we have the old print run of Volume 1 available as a reward. I may discount these, actually. But we also have Volume 1 of the new print run. So if you back this level, Volume 1, you just get the new printing, which is what this Kickstarter is funding. For librarians and retailers, we have a tier called the Scholar, which is where you get 2 physical copies of The Legend Volume 1. Just Volume 1. You get 2 copies of Volume 1, but this is for librarians and retailers. And we'll get to that when we get to the backer survey if we hit our goal. But that reward is there for folks who run comic shops or are in charge of acquisitions for their libraries or anything like that. We also have the old print run copies of Volume 2. These ones are even more limited than the copies of Volume 1. I am almost completely out of copies of Volume 2. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these. We also have available as a tier Volume 2, the new run. So if you want a copy of Volume 2 from this new printer, this is the tier that you would back. It's just regular old Volume 2. And then we have Legendary Booty, which is where you get digital and physical copies of the Legend Volumes 1 and 2. And we have one backer who's claimed that already. Thank you. So we have that available. And Legendary Booty gives you physical copies from the new run that this campaign is funding. And then we have this tier, the Ragoon. This is another for librarians and retailers. You can get 2 physical copies each of Volumes 1 and 2. But this is specifically for librarians and retailers, and we will get to that when we get to that. That's for librarians and retailers who maybe have a little bit more wiggle room in their budget to make acquisitions. But I understand not every retailer or librarian does, which is why the Scholar, here it is, which is why the Scholar is available for you. For my international peeps, there are digital rewards available for you, as well as digital add-ons. And those are going to be your best bet if you don't want to pay out the nose for shipping. I will be fully transparent about that. But what add-ons do we have? We have mini comics. And these mini comics include The Legend of Azumi, all the way on the left here. We have Legendary and Casual, Ranky and Cosplay, and The Legend of Norsa. These last 3 are all physical copies. The Legend of Azumi is only digital. Full transparency on that. We also have stickers available. The first 3 over here with Thomas, Jamie, and Daniel in full-on punk attire is well, I'm going to have to make a note of something and put a pin in that for that. But the first 3 stickers here are available as a sticker pack. I believe they're also available individually, but they are for sure available as a sticker pack of just the 3. You can also get Basho's twin here, and you can get Jamie Roberts all the way on the right here, or you can get the full sticker pack and get all of these. Now, I said a second ago to put a pin in that. I'm going to unpucker that sucker and address this. Digital and physical copies of Dragons, a sketchbook. I'm actually going to tweak this a bit because I believe right now I may have forgotten to put this available as an add-on. So I'm going to fix that tonight. That said, another fix I'm going to do, these will likely only be digital copies. Because Dragons was printed through the old printer, the one that messed up that first print run of The Legend Volume 1. And it's going to cost more to set up Dragons with a new printer, which I'm not going to do that. So I think for Dragons' a sketchbook, it's only going to be digital copies. So I am going to update this. For now, I am going to go into edit project. You're going to see behind the scenes for a second. I'm going to go into story, and then I am going to go down to that section that has the information about Dragons, and I'm going to remove that. Here we go. Save and done. Okay. Yeah, just full transparency. I'm going to be fixing that later tonight / tomorrow morning. So keep an eye on the campaign for that. More like sticker jacked. Yes, indeed. Sticker pack, sticker jacked. Because everybody's got muscles. Look, this comic has all of my favorite things, including beefcakes, man. I love drawing me some beefcakes. Like, part of the reason I love making The Legend of Jamie Roberts is it's got so many of my favorite things in it. I've already talked about that, but I could gush about it for ages. I love making this comic. How legendary is the booty? Exceptionally legendary. Yes. Thank you. And yes, you did get a behind the scenes peek. Beef cake. Yes. You know, I might just add a beefcake sticker. We'll see. We'll see how the campaign goes. Keep an eye on the campaign because there will be some adjustments made tonight and tomorrow morning. Or tonight and or tomorrow morning. There will be adjustments made. And also, before I forget, the stretch goals. Because if we can hit that 1,300 base goal, we can make 50 copies of Volumes 1 and Volumes 2 each. We can make that happen. If we reach 1,500 in funding by October 21st, then we'll be able to print more copies of each volume, and backers will get a 4x6-inch mini print of Thomas at the beach. I'm going to rephrase that on the page, but I have the sketch. I think I have it scanned in. I am going to poke around and double check while I have, yes, Los Idea on the bingo card. Yes. Been a while since I plugged this. I have live stream bingo cards. You can download those for free in the doobly-doo down below. It just leads you to a Ko-fi listing, but they're free downloads. They're bingo cards. Because there are certain topics that I hit so many times in these live streams, you can just play live stream bingo. And if you hit bingo, let me know in the chat. All right. So I'm going to check and make sure. I am like 99% sure that I have the original sketch for this already scanned in, but I want to be certain. So I'm going to have that highlight on the screen for a second while I dig. While I look, I should say. Oh, I think I know where I put him. Because this sketch could be in like at least 7 different places, but I'm reasonably sure I know where this place is. Or maybe I don't. Okay. I thought for sure I had scanned him in. Well, I have the physical copy, so I can at least bring it up physically and show it to you. So give me 1 second. It's in, I believe, this sketchbook. Oh, no, it's the next one. Okay. Because I know the time frame that I drew this sketch originally. Usually knowing the time frame for when I drew it is a good indication of which sketchbook it's going to be in. There he is. I found him. All right. So if we can hit 1,500 in funding for this campaign by October 21st, all backers are going to get, can we get the camera to cooperate? Yes. Yes, we can get the camera to cooperate. We'll get this all touched up and finalized, and he will be available as a mini print. So if we can get 1,500 in funding, all backers are going to get this as a mini print. Yes. That's if we hit our base goal and then get to 1,500 in funding. Okay. I'm going to have to scan him into the computer later. Anyway, our next stretch goal after that, if we can hit 1,700 in funding by October 21st, we'll unlock the Daniel tier, which is where we get more copies of the book, we get the Thomas mini print, and we get a mini print of Daniel for all backers. If we can hit 1,900, then we hit the Jamie tier. And then that unlocks all the previous tiers plus a mini print of Jamie in a totally new costume for everybody. Not the sketch that I showed off earlier. The sketch I showed off earlier for Jamie is the patron exclusive. The Jamie tier at the 1,900 tier, or the Jamie tier at 1,900 in funding, is going to be a different costume. But we got to hit that goal first. If we can hit 2,100 in funding by October 21st, we unlock the Basho tier, which is where we get more copies of the book, the Thomas mini print, the Daniel mini print, the Jamie mini print, and a new mini comic called Date Night, all about Basho and Norsa. It may or may not get steamy. We'll see. If we can get to that particular threshold, it's dependent on if we can get to that threshold. If we reach 2,300 in funding by October 21st, we will unlock all of these rewards I've been talking about, plus a new mini comic called Banishment, which details the final moments that Ranky experienced before he was banished into the way. This is relevant to the plot of the story. Ranky is the Dragon King that led a contingent in the Ragun Dwa, which is mentioned in chapter 2. It's a whole thing. But yes, these are the stretch goals that we have in mind. And these are what I hope we can unlock by October 21st. But to get there, we gotta raise that funding. All right. So this campaign, as I mentioned, started today and it ends October 21st. That said, there will be a 24-hour late pledge grace period. Just keep in mind that the late pledge period only lasts for 24 hours, and all of the pledges that become available in that grace period do have late fees applied. Also, there are some rewards that are only available by October 21st. And then they're not available in that late pledge grace period. So keep that in mind. Okay. So that is what we've got for this campaign right now. All right. I am going to present. Here we are, Clip Studio Paint, and we're going to bring this up. Now, again, this is the working file. This is the initial sketch. We're going to build off of this set of bones for the patron exclusive mini print. So keep that in mind. But I am going to take okay, cool. My soup is still hot, but I am going to take however much time that it takes to finish off this soup. We're going to take, because we've been talking for about 40 minutes. I'm going to take whatever time that I need to finish off this soup. We're going to have some music jamming. I'm going to have the link to the campaign on the screen and down in the description. When we come back from our short break, we will start building on these bones and making the art. Let's turn on some music. And this would be a good time to get up, stretch, get some water, and do what you need to do. Let us do this one. Okay, I'm back from my snack break. Appreciate y'all's patience while I got that in order. Okay, so to make this easier on myself, we're gonna make a new canvas. 4 inches wide, 6 inches tall, 350 dots per inch. We'll record the time lapse for YouTube Shorts purposes, because I'm not on TikTok or Instagram anymore, but YouTube Shorts is still a thing. We'll let the music keep going. It's nice. I like this music. I did hear a couple new tracks from Louis Zong recently, and hopefully, depending on a couple of things, depends on how the money situation looks in the next couple of days, but I should be able to get a couple new tracks. So we'll actually have some variety of music on this live stream. What a concept. Amazing. All right. We're going to not free transform, but we are going to scale this up. Considering the composition, I think we need to zoom out a bit. Step 1. I think that works. Yeah. Maybe up just a little bit. About bearish. Okay. We're gonna call that our thumbnail layer. Okay. X out of that window. And we are going to save our progress, kids. Always save your progress. I don't know if it's actually showing up on. Oh, it is showing up. Okay, so this is actually a client project, so ignore this for a second. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna decrease the opacity on this thumbnail layer to about 25%. And then we're gonna work on our pencils. And we're gonna tighten up this sketch. Oh, one thing I did do recently, I finally set up the color palettes for Jamie Roberts on Clip Studio Paint. And I did not realize until I put this paint palette together just how very dark and saturated the canvas is. Damon's jaw is not structured like this. Hold on. We're going to move that nose over. That's better. That's way closer to Jamie's actual face. I'm gonna adjust the eye a little bit since we have the canvas mirrored. I'll tell you what, finding out about that mirroring tool years ago, it was a huge game changer in the art making game for me. Being like, oh my god, I can flip my canvas and I can catch errors? Heck yes! It was amazing. One thing I do need to do real fast, actually. First, we're going to save our progress. Always save your progress, please. I'm going to bring up this live stream on my phone so that I can keep tabs on the YouTube chat while the canvas is up. Because whenever I have Clip Studio Paint up, I cannot see what is happening on YouTube. So I'm bringing YouTube up on my phone. This is the workaround stuff that I gotta do. Okay. Cool, and I have it muted. Cool. All right, we got that situated. I should probably set a 25-minute timer. Just thinking about that as like 25 minutes is usually a good time limit for like, oh, I gotta get up and do some stretches or get some water and whatnot. So Jamie is definitely wearing Captain O'Malley's hat. I think that's just a cute little detail. Because, like, I like to imagine that Janie would absolutely wear Captain O'Malley's hat because Captain O'Malley would let them, but they are not allowed to wear the captain's coat. That's the captain's coat. So built in here, then the hips. Considering the angle that we are looking up at Jamie, because we are looking up, we're going to try to keep that in mind when outlining the general body shape here. For folks who are tuning in or are watching this on the replay, lost track and went, wait, what is Kelsey drawing? I am drawing the patron reward for members of my Ko-fi page who support the Kickstarter campaign. I always draw a special little something for folks who support me through Ko-fi and Kickstarter, because I mean, they're already double dipping their rewards. I gotta give them a little extra bonus rewards. That's what this is. You can actually draw a better foot here. I actually drew this foot pose in a different comic project not that long ago, so I can correct. Okay, there we go. Then we're gonna have them up on this part of the ship. Not the mast, but definitely the sail that is connected to the mast. I am blanking on the technical term for it right now. If only Lucy Bellwood were watching. Lucy Bellwood is cool. A while back ago on this channel, I was doing videos that I called Ramblings, which were a direct pull from Lucy Bellwood, who in turn borrowed it from a different artist. I may get back into that video format. It has been a minute since I did regular video updates on this channel that were not live streams. So there's a little part of me that's like, maybe I should get back into that. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Correct the lines on that. We're doing just rough shapes right now. This is just a rough idea of what it is that I want to draw on. We'll do like proper final details here in a bit. We're pulling up some reference images to make sure that the details are accurate. Right now, this is just fully off the top of the belt. And this is also off of my memory of how I drew the ship back in chapter 1. Okay, so we got a rough pose, we got a rough shape of the ship. Get a rough shape of the feather. Boom! Ahoy! Let's change the tune for a second. Let us do... Well, we were talking about him earlier. Louis Zong. I heard the new single that Louis Zong put out with Worthy Kids. Ah, so good. The collaboration I did not know I needed. Louis Zong and Worthy Kids. So good. Highly recommend that you look it up and check it out. It's very good. By the way, CB, if you are watching this, I did get your texts. I'm just drawing, so I won't be able to reply right away. Hold on, I'm going to turn off that purple there. Okay, yeah, that arm's just a little bit too beefy. We're gonna twinkify it a little bit. Possibly scale it down. Yeah. There we go. I think all liable to change, so I'm not gonna be 100% married to the placement of all of this. Okay. We'll adjust the scaling of that hand later. The important thing is to just make sure that the placement of everything makes sense. And we're getting there. Gotta keep that trademark red sash on their hip. Again, not married to the placement. I might need to change that sash placement here in a bit, but this will work for now. Save our progress before we draw the next arm. Next, as if there's like more than 2 arms on this character? No, there's only 2 arms. Only 2 arms, I promise. Okay. Today's tea selection is Country Peach from... Why am I blanking on this company name? It's the kind that you can pick up at like any grocery store. They also do a sleepy time tea, but this is Countryside Peach. I used to drink this flavor all the time when I was in college. It was my go-to drink before I discovered coffee. Oh! Speaking of coffee, that reminds me, I actually recently quit coffee. It wasn't so much to be like a quitting caffeine journey. It was to go on a low caffeine journey. Because I discovered that too much caffeine makes me extra anxious and exacerbates my anxiety, and that's the last thing that I want right now. So, yes. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna actually draw this in red, just so I can get the placement. Okay, and this sword is gonna be Jamie's regular companion, the one modeled after the Dao. I am probably mispronouncing that, but it is a variation of a Chinese sword, is what this particular model is. Got a built-in crossguard, and oh my gosh, hold on a minute. So you can't smell this, and thank goodness, but the bathroom is right around the corner, and that is where we have our litter boxes, and I think one of the kitties just had a very stinky poop. So I'm going to zoom out for a minute, show you what we've got so far. I need to take care of the litter box real fast. I had to take care of that real fast. Oof, good heavens. Ooh. Okay. I'm actually going to with the lasso tool, and I'm going to select around this, cut paste. Something tells me I'm going to be fiddling with the placement of the sword, so. Why am I struggling to remember the angle that... Okay. I'm reasonably sure that's the angle of the sword. Let me bring it up in the sub view. I have the sword as a reference. Okay, here we go. Okay. There we go. That's the proper angle. Reasonably sure. Prong up, swoop down. Yeah, this is the proper angle. Whew. Just making sure. Okay. Actually, I kind of like the placement of the sword right there, so I think I'll just leave that. Okay. All right, now for the coat. The majestic AF coat. Okay, I gotta bring in that thumb layer again so I know where the drapery falls. Okay. Like how it drapes. It's very important to know how the fabric drapes. Okay. Here we go. This is a gentle reminder that I am available for commissions. If you back The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volumes 1 and 2, more info in doobly-doo. You can check out the Kickstarter campaign. Speaking of the Kickstarter campaign, I'm just going to check it. Super fast. Okay. Well, we are at 238 raised out of our 1,300 goal. We have until October 21st to hit our goal. So if you would like to help us make our goal and get more copies of The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volumes 1 and 2 out into the world, check out the campaign, link in the doobly-doo and on the screen as well. So what is The Legend of Jamie Roberts about? So it's about this here genderqueer person who is neither a boy or a girl. They are a pirate. And one day during a pirate raid, Jamie and their two best friends discover a unfinished treasure map. And so they decide to quit the seas and to go adventuring to find some treasure. And along the way, they become bodyguards to a king, Ragun Basho, who's got so many secrets, y'all. He's got so many secrets. He does share a little bit about the history of this new land that they find themselves in, including that about 500 years ago, there was something called the Ragundwa, the Dragon War, that happened. And an evil being named Ragun Ranki was banished for his crimes against society, and he has not been heard from since. And as long as these magic orbs remain intact and his sword stays basically in the stump. It's not a sword in the stone. It's not the sword in the stone, it's the sword in the stump. But as long as the orbs stay intact and the sword stays in place, Ranki stays banished. But there are some dark, sinister forces at work who are trying to get Ranki loose. And Volume 1 leads to a little village called Maliwe, in which the chief of that town has been rumored to be acting funny lately. And it turns out he is acting funny because he encountered a being called a Makta. You will find out what the Makta are in Volume 1. They play a big part in Volume 2. Because in Volume 2, Jamie and friends fight a lot of them. So Volume 1 is the setup for what happens in Maliwe. Volume 2 is what happens in Maliwe. Including lots of fight scenes, a dragon transformation, like somebody transforms into a dragon, and also some magic shenanigans, but I cannot get into too much of that because that's getting into spoiler territory. Lots of stuff happens in Volume 2, but you need Volume 1 to get the context. But also Volume 1 is fun because it's got pirate raids, and it's got all kinds of little teasers. It's got character moments. It's got some of my favorite character moments so far. Okay, so we are off to a pretty solid start here. That's actually that. For in a second, I'm going to flip the canvas and make sure that everything is all Gucci. Okay. Honestly, a lot of this looks good. I do want to cross-check and make sure that the detail of the ship makes sense. But that is going to require some digging. What I can do in the meantime is ink this page, or I could ink a different page of the Legend of Julia Roberts, because I'm nearly through with one of the other comic pages that I have sitting in the backlog. We'll see. Okay. Well, I'm going to have some tea while I think on that. For anybody who's watching in the live chat, if you have any questions about volumes 1 and 2 of The Legend of Julia Roberts, or about the comic, or about the Kickstarter, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I will answer to the best of my ability. I will address one question, because this is something that I've had some people ask me in Discord servers, so I'll go ahead and answer this here. Some folks will be like, why are your campaigns so short? Because usually a crowdfunding campaign lasts like 30 days, and I always keep mine shorter than 30 days. And the reason for that, I've done this enough times to know that 1 week is too short, but 1 month is too long for the audience that I have. So I opted for 3 weeks because the last time that I did a project this big was probably the case of the Wendigo, and that one lasted 3 weeks. The only other projects that I've done that were bigger than this were mostly with Canon Wright Productions, and those ones lasted a full month. But their asking goals were much larger. I figure with the asking goal that I have and the length of time that we have, that we should, fingers crossed, be able to hit this goal. The only way to find out, though, is if you help by signal boosting or by backing the campaign if you've got the funding to do so. Even $1 helps us move in the direction that we need to go. But if you are broke, absolutely share the link on the screen, tinyurl.com/TLOJR-reprint, or the link down in the description. If you can share that, that would be immensely helpful, because I am not on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever other social medias people are using nowadays. I don't know. The only outlets that I like social media engage with are here on YouTube and Blue Sky, but Blue Sky is like, it's hit or miss for me. Blue Sky is still fairly new in terms of like how I engage with it. So I'm not going to rely that much on Blue Sky for like getting the word out or asking for pledges too much. I have an email newsletter, so there is that. I also have a few other outlets that I've been pursuing. And I still have my major list of contacts that I accumulated during the promotion for Universal Flaws of Robotics. Partly into last month, partly into August. I have like 130 contacts off of that sheet alone. So I'm hoping, knock on wood, that by spreading the word in those ways, that will help with the campaign. But obviously, since I'm not on Instagram or Facebook or the other social media platforms, if you are broke and you can share the link on those platforms, that would also help. Sharing is caring. It helps more than you know. Alrighty. It's been, let's see, it's 7:20. I've been getting into the habit of going to bed early. By early, I don't mean like 8 o'clock or anything like that. God, I understand there are some people who have to do that, and I'm sorry that you have to do that. But I might actually wrap it up here, because otherwise y'all might be watching me have to dig through files to try to find like ship references, and that sounds kind of boring, honestly. And I talked about everything that I needed to talk about in this campaign. We discussed the Legend of Jamie Roberts reprint campaign on Kickstarter, because we're trying to reprint volumes 1 and 2. And the reason we're doing that, we're almost sold out of the copies that we've got. Because like volume 1, I am down real low, and volume 2, I'm down real low. So I am running this Kickstarter campaign to help print extra copies of this swashbuckling, magical, genderqueer adventure. And the reason for that is because the people who jive with this comic that I've met at conventions, because like, I mean, it's a good problem to have if you're nearly sold out of the first and second print runs of this book. But this jives with folks whenever I've talked about it with people. And that makes me immensely happy that this comic like folks jive with it. That makes me so incredibly happy. And it also just makes me happy because making this comic makes me happy. I get to draw pirates and dragons and himbos and dilfs and muscly people all day. Like, or it's as close to all day as I can get considering the life that I have. But being able to draw these has been helping a lot because the last couple of months have been very, very stressful. And The Legend of Jamie Roberts has been an enormous relief for me. Anytime that I get to sit down and draw it, I just feel better when I'm done for the day drawing it. Like, it is such a relief to be able to work on this comic. And it's a relief because it's fun. It's fun for me to draw these things, and it is fun for me to share these things with y'all. And this Kickstarter campaign is happening because I want to share this book and this comic with more people. I would love for more people to discover The Legend of Jamie Roberts. So even if you yourself cannot back this campaign, or if you already have copies of volumes 1 and 2, if you can share this campaign link, that would help immensely. The big goal with this campaign is to try to get as many new folks as possible to discover this swashbuckling adventure. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I'm going to try to live stream again next week. Because when I polled my fans on Discord, shout out to my fans on Discord. When I polled people on Discord, I asked whether they wanted live streams daily or weekly or whenever I get to them. And the overwhelming response was weekly. So we had this stream tonight. I'm going to try to stream next week on Monday or Tuesday, possibly Wednesday. Next stream, I'll announce it whenever I get it set up, but it will happen next week. I am hoping, fingers crossed, that when we touch base again in the next live stream, that we have significantly more progress on this Kickstarter campaign. I am hoping that we can hit our base goal before October 21st, because that's when this campaign ends, is October 21st at 11:59 p.m. EST. EDT. I think we're in EDT right now. So, yes. Keep an eye on this channel. Do the YouTube things if you would like to stay tuned for the next live stream. And if you haven't backed the campaign yet and you have the means to do so, the link is on the screen and down in the description. We have a ton of stuff available. And there will be more because I will be updating the campaign again tonight / tomorrow morning with some new add-ons available. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you, Los and Jessica, for hanging out with me in the live chat. Thank you to everybody who did not leave comments in the live chat, but were still lurking while I was working. I appreciate y'all coming in and tuning in because I know today was a very busy day and there was a lot going on. So I appreciate y'all taking the time to sit and hang out with me. Thank you so much for your support. I think that's all I got for now. Thanks so much for watching. You are awesome.